Okay, so this video is basically going to be me running through the entirety of the November 2023 Paper 1. Alright, it's foundation as non-calculator. Alright, so I'm just going to go through every question, model solutions, so it's really easy for you to see where you might be going wrong or whatnot. Alright, here we go. Okay, so question 1, first of all, we've got a list of numbers and it says work out the range of these numbers. Now, there are 4 types of averages: mean, median, mode, and range. Now, range, think realistically, okay? It's the greatest minus the smallest. Think about a range of data. Look at the smallest and the biggest. So, I would circle them both. I'm going to do 8 subtract 2, which is 6. Okay? Number 2 is a subtraction, but you need to lay it out. Alright, carrying over again, 31. Alright, that should be fairly straightforward. If you're having issues with that, I'll be honest, you just need to practice a load of it. 3 times A times 4 times the numbers together, you get 12, but we've also got an A, so it's 12A. So a fairly straightforward start. Measuring this angle, I'm just going to have to pause for a moment. Okay, I've got my protractor out. Now, I've got to be honest, I've had to go online to get one, so it's a bit weird looking. But anyway, line it up to you which way you want to do this, but you need to line it up so it's all matched up. Oops, you need to line up the angle so it's perfect. Okay, and then get that dot in the corner. Alright, mine's a little bit tricky because I'm on here. Follow the angle. Now, you'll notice that mine doesn't have the 2 sets of numbers. Yours should have 2 sets of numbers on it. So for example, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, depending on which side you're using. Now, I'm being realistic. I know this angle is acute, alright? So it's not going to be 140 degrees, that's so unrealistic. Instead, where it says 10, 20, 30, this would be 40 degrees. Alright, 40 degrees. Not ideal because I didn't have a paper copy, but there we are. Alright, 1/5 of 300, so all we need to do for this one is 300 divided by 5, okay? 30 divided by 5 is 6, so it's going to be 6t. Okay, moving on. There are 3 litres of oil in a can, and Jermaine uses 700 millilitres of the can. How much is left in millilitres? Right? Because it wants millilitres, the strategy is let's convert this litres to millilitres. So, in 1 litre, there are 1,000 millilitres. So in 3 litres, there are 3,000 millilitres. So we're doing 3,000 minus 700, which is 2,300 millilitres. All right. So 2,300. All right. Matt is drawing a scale diagram. 1 centimetre represents 5 metres. He draws a line 3 centimetres. So we've got 1 centimetre equals 5 metres. So this is like your image. And this is your real life. And he's drawn a 3 centimetres on the image because he's drawn it. So in real life that would be 15 because I've timesed by 3. Alright. So 15 metres. Now we're going back the other way. The real distance between 2 points is 20 metres. So reminder, 1 centimetre we're saying is 5 metres. This time we've been given the metre side, so that's 20 metres. So I'm going to times here by 4. So I need to times this by 4. 4 centimetres. Moving on. Miss Bailey asked 24 students when I want to go on a trip. I've just got to complete the table. We literally just need to go one at a time and cross it off. Takes a little while, but there we are. If you don't cross it off, that you might make a mistake, and then that would be really annoying because, not being funny, this isn't the most taxing question in the world. The irony now if I make a mistake, by the way. And then once you've done the tallies, put the numbers in. So we've got 11, we've got 7, and we've got 6. And write down the place that is the mode, so which place went to the most. That'd be the castle. Okay, and then next question is drawing a bar chart to show the results. So we should have 3 things in our bar chart, and from the bottom it'll be castle, farm, museum, and then the frequencies, the numbers on the side. We need to reach 11. So let's just see, can we do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Great, we'll go a little bit further. So it's it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. I'll put a couple more on there, no harm in doing that. And then we need to do the bars for castle, farm, and museum. I might go too wide just because I think it'll look a little bit nicer, it'll look a bit cramped otherwise. Right, we'll just try and be fairly consistent with it. So we need 11 to start with. Okay, so that's castle. We need farm for 7. Oh, sorry. Didn't hold it long enough. Farm for 7. Obviously, yours will be probably a little bit neater because you have a ruler. And last one, 6. The last one. Now, obviously, if you've made a mistake with your numbers in the actual diagram, as in the chart, you can still pick up marks for drawing whatever you got in the bar chart. And then make sure you label it. So we've got frequency along the side and places along the bottom. Alright. Obviously yours will be a little bit nicer because you have a ruler and you won't be going over the bottom like I have. Alright. Moving on, Selena's got a bag of 22 counters, 5 of blue, 9 of red and 8 pink. So key info, 5 of blue, 9 of red, 8 pink. Takes a random count from the bag. Probability she gets a red one. Well, there are 9 red ones out of, they've told us how many in total, there are 22. Probability she doesn't get a pink one, so does not get a pink, that basically means she's getting a blue or a red. Well, there are 5 blue, 9 red, so combined 14. 14 out of 22. And last one takes a white counter. Well, we're not going to get tricked by that, there aren't any. So 0, sorry, that's 0. There aren't any, alright? Moving on, we're making some cookies. So 20 peanut butter cookies. He wants to make 60 cookies. He has 900 grams of peanut butter. Does he have enough peanut butter, basically, to make 60 cookies? So we don't really care about most of it. We only care about the peanut butter. Alright. Super simple. We're going from 20 cookies to 60. So we're just timesing by 3. We've got 250 grams. Times by 3 is 750 grams. Alright, so does he have enough peanut butter? Yes, he has enough peanut butter, as 900 is greater than 750 grams. He only needs 750, he's got 900. Really nice one, that one, really nice. On the grid, draw an enlargement of a triangle. Enlargement, scale factor of 3. Enlargement either means it's going to get bigger, or it could get smaller. It's going to change size, alright? It's not going to rotate, it's not going to reflect, it's just going to change size. And scale factor of 3 means it's going to get 3 times bigger. So at the moment, the width of this triangle is 2. So that needs to triple. So it needs to be 6 wide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's my... You can draw it anywhere on the grid as long as it works. And at the moment, the height is 3. Okay, but so that needs to triple to 9 at the halfway point. So if I use this, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Should end up here. Let's triple check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Lovely, and then just connect it up. There we are, and that's my triangle, enlarged 3 times. Alright, so it's got 3 times bigger. Okay, next, so far this paper's been quite nice, I'll be honest. Okay, work out the value of P when G is 3 and H is 5. So this is substitution, we're replacing the letters with numbers. So 2G plus 4H, so 2 lots of 3 plus 4 lots of 5. I'm putting them in brackets so I don't end up just thinking it's 23 plus 45, because it's not. So 2 lots of 3 is 6, plus 4 lots of 5 is 20, so we should get 26. Okay, this one says work out the value of G when P is 38 and H is 3. So if you look at the actual thing, the actual equation, that's what it looks like. So we've got 38 is replacing the P. We don't know what G is, plus 4 lots of 3. Okay, so we've got 38 equals 2G plus 12. Now it's just an equation, can we solve it? So let's subtract the 12. So we've got 26 equals 2G, half it, 13 equals G, so 13. Alright, the reason that's hard also is because the equation's on the other side. Normally you have the letter on the left, which makes it a bit easier to picture. Okay, V equals 3R minus Q, so we've got V equals 3R minus Q. Okay, work out V when R is minus 3 and Q is 2. So 3 lots of minus 3 minus just 2. Alright, because Q is just 2. 3 times minus 3 is minus 9 minus 2. That is negative 11. Alright, minus 11. Alright, moving on. Chloe is making scrunchies. Chloe has a large number of hairbands. Each hairband costs 8p. She buys 100 grams of wool for £3. So a lot going on already. Alright. She uses 1 hairband and 5 grams of wool to make each scrunchie. She makes as many as she can. Okay. So she's got 100 grams of wool to start with. That's cost her £3. She uses 1 hairband and 5 grams of wool to make each scrunchie. Now, we don't know how many hairbands she has, but it just says she has a lot. So we don't really need to worry about the hairbands that much. It's more the wool that we want to worry about. So she's bought 100 grams of wool, and every scrunchie uses 5 of them up. So if we do 100 divided by 5, we will get that she can make 20 scrunchies with the amount of wool that she's bought. Now, we're assuming she has enough hairbands because she said she's got loads, apparently. She's got a large number. She hasn't had, and they cost 8p. So, to make those 20 scrunchies, so for 20 scrunchies, she's going to use 20 hairbands, because every scrunchie needs one. So we need to do 20 times 8p, okay, times 8p. Okay, so 2 times 8, so that's 160 pence. Alright, just some 20 times 8 is 160. So that is £1.60 to keep it in pounds. Although I want it in pence actually, so I'm actually going to undo that. Apologies. I'm actually going to undo that just because I've spotted that actually says give it in pence. So why am I changing to pounds, if that makes sense? Okay, 160p. That's the hairband costs. So that's for the hairbands. And then we need to also, she's bought some wool for £3. So then the wool, so it's £3, which is 300 pence. And then the total cost for all together, so 300 plus 160 is 460 pence. That's for all of them. Okay, that's for all of the scrunchies. So that's the total cost for all. Realistically, actually, now upon reflection, I probably didn't need to find all 20 hairbands. But I've done it now, so never mind. So total cost of each scrunchie she makes. So there's 20 of them, so I need to do 460 divided by 20. Alright, well 460 divided by 2 is 23. So divided by 20 is 2.23. 23 pence. Alright, so I've just, oh no, 23, sorry. So the total cost will be 23 pence. Right, that's how much it's costed to make each one. Okay. On the grid, draw this graph, the values of minus 2 to 2. Notice gap. Here, there is a massive gap there. That's for you, if you want to, do a table. So we've got x and y to fill in, right? It says from minus 2 to 2. That's what it says on the little question. All right, it says that right here. Okay, so we're going to do that for this equation, doing the positive numbers first. So I'm going to leave the two minus ones for now. So 4 times 0 minus 1 is minus 1. So 4 times 0 is 0, minus 1 is minus 1. 4 times 1, okay, 4 times 1 is 4. Take away 1 is 3, right? 4 times 2 is 8. Take away 1 is 7. Now, there's a trend here, right? Each time it's going up by 4 because of this, 4x. The reason I'm telling you that is because it's easy to do the negative ones like that. Otherwise, you might make a mistake with your minuses, all right? So I'm going to go back 4 here, so we get minus 5, and then we get minus 9. All right, so I've just gone back 4. Then we've just got to draw it. Okay, so I'm going to go from 2 to 7 up here, 1 to 3, 0 to minus 1, minus 1, minus 5, minus 2, minus 9. And it should make a straight line. The only graphs you'll likely see in foundation are either straight lines like this or U-shaped ones. Alright, so if that's not happening, then something's likely gone wrong. They don't normally make you draw the other ones. Okay, moving on. Steve's buying a car and it costs him £12,000. He pays 25% as a deposit, so he's paid that off, and then he pays the rest in 20-month instalments. How much is each month? Okay, so we've got, first of all, it costs him £12,000 and he's already paid 25% off because he's put down some money for his car. So we need to find 25% of 12,000 and remove it because he's paid it. Now 50% would be half of it, that's £6,000. So 25%, which is a quarter in total, half of that is £3,000. Just waiting for the car. I have to remember to cut this because it's a blooming car from my neighbour, man. Okay, so that's 25%, 3,000. Okay, so that is 25% of that amount. Where are we? I'm just going to have to speak louder, I think, to try and drown out the car. So 25% is £3,000, right? He's paid that, so we need to remove that. So 12,000 minus 3,000, which is 9,000. So he still has that to pay. And he's going to do that in 20 months, over a period of 20 months. So how much is each month? Well, we need to divide it by 20, all right? So 9,000 divided by 20, all right? Half of 9,000 would be 4,500, okay? So divided by 2, all right? And then we need to divide that by 10, because we divided by 20 altogether. Okay, so it's going to be £450, right? That's the cost of every monthly payment. Okay? Moving on, number 16. Shah takes an exam. Exam is out of 60. Needs a score of at least 70% to pass. He scores 45. Show that he passes. all right? So this person gets 45 out of 60, so 45 out of 60, and my first thought is we've got a fraction here. Can we simplify it to see if we can work out what it is as a percentage? Because at the moment, I can't read that and go, oh, I know what that is, definitely. Now, they're both in the 5, so that will become 9 over 12, right? They're both in the 3, so I've just divided both of these by 5, just to be really clear. Both in the 3, so that's 3 over 4. Now, you might be thinking, I know what that is. That's 3 over 4. That's 75%. You might not be thinking that, though. You need to learn this. All right, you need to learn that a quarter is 25%, a half is 50%, and 3/4 is 75%. Okay, so that is equal to 75%. So, in fact, we don't even need to say yes. Okay, 75 is greater than 70, so Shah passes the exam. All right, that's how you need to do it. Next one is pretty standard. So for dividing fractions, you keep the first fraction the same. You change the divide into a multiply, and then you flip that last fraction upside down. Okay, so instead of 1 over 6, it's 6 over 1. Right, and then you can just times them like normal. So 3 times 6 is 18. 5 times 1 is 5. Key bit though, it does say give your answer as a mixed number. So we need to convert this to a mixed number. How many 5s go into 18? Well, there are 3 5s in 18. Okay, which is 15. And then how many leftovers get from 15 to 18 is 3. So it's 3 and 3/5. All right. That should be pretty standard. And look, it's worth 3. No disrespect, guys, but that one hard. You could do that. Okay, next one, times in 2 decimals together. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Just times the 2 numbers, please, guys. Don't worry about the decimals to start with. You get 2 of the 3 marks for just doing this, times in the 2 numbers together. And correctly, by the way. 4 3 is 12. It's 24, 25. New column. 2 3s is 6. 12. Add it all up. 1 5 1 2. You will get 2 out of 3 marks for just getting that number. Alright? Ideal world we want all 3, but that's bare minimum. Alright, bare minimum, get 2 out of 3 there. Now, this is where I want you to work out to put the decimal point in. I want you to think with your brains, use some logic. 6.3, that's pretty much 6, yeah? 2.4, that's pretty much 2. 6 times 2 is 12. So my number's got to be as close to 12 as possible, okay? It's not going to be 151.2, that's way too big. It's not going to be 1.512, too small. But it is going to be 15.12. It's a little bit bigger than 12 because our numbers are actually a little bit bigger than 6 and 2. So our number's a bit bigger, all right? Use some logic for those. Do not leave them blank. 5 to the power of 0, anything to the power of 0 is always 1. So just put a 1 in, right? Doesn't matter what it is. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. 5 to the minus 2, now what that is 5 to the minus 2 is 1 over 5 squared. So the power just goes to the bottom. So that is 1 over 25. All right, 1 over 25. Okay. Write this in 2 to the n, where n is an integer. Okay, so index laws. So 2 to the 5 times 2 to the 4. We actually add the powers here. All right, so this becomes 2 to the power of 9. Don't times the powers, just add them. So we're doing 2 to the 9 divided by 2 to the 3. And now this time, because we've got a division in the middle, we're not going to add the powers, we're going to subtract the powers. So it becomes 2 to the 6 altogether. And that's done, because that's how it wants it to be. Okay? Moving on. Okay, so we're going to write 156 as a product of its primes. So 2, we're going to half it, so I'm just going to do my bus stop for it. Okay, so it goes into that 7 times, made a 1, 8, so 78. Split it up again in half. Okay, so 78 halved is 39. 39 is in the 3s. If you're not sure, just try a few. I don't really know why I'm bus stopping this, but there we are. 13. And 13 is 8 prime. Okay, so that will be 2 times 2 times 3 times 13. Or you can write as 2 squared times 3 times 13. Okay. Next one says highest common factor of 156 and 130. Alright, so they always follow, this kind of question tend to follow a prime factors question. Sometimes it asks for the lowest common multiple, sometimes it does highest common factor. Basically, do a prime factor tree for 130 as well to start with, which normally won't take too long. 2 and then 65. 5 times table and then 13. So this one is 2 times 5 times 13. And then we know 156, that is 2 times 2 times 3 times 13. Alright. And highest common factor is a little bit easier. You just times the ones they have in common. So in this case, we've got a 13 times 2 and 13 times 2. So it's going to be 26. All right. Okay, moving on. The mean length of 5 sticks is 4.2. November measured one of the lengths is 7. Work out the mean length of the other 4 sticks. Alright, so the mean of 5 sticks is 4.2. So mean is the total divided by how many there are. So that's 5, and that equals 4.2 apparently. So if you add them all up, divide them by 5, you've got 4.2. So let's times it by 5 to see what the total length is. Total length. So 4.2 times 5, I'm just going to do 42 times 5, 21, so 21 centimetres, that's the total length of the whole thing. Now one of the sticks is 7 centimetres, alright, so we can remove that. So 21 minus 7 centimetres, 14, I don't know why I did that, sorry. So 14 centimetres is the other 4. Add it up, that's the total. Alright, so to do the mean of this, we've got 14 divided by 4. That will give us the mean length of the other ones, the average of the other ones. So 14 divided by 4, if we simplify that a little bit, it becomes 7 over 2, which is 3.5 centimetres. But in theory, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to accept 14 over 4 as your answer. Right? Now I made a mistake. The stick was not 7 centimetres long, it was 17 centimetres long. How does this affect your answer to part A? Well, if we removed that 17 centimetres from the total length, the average of the 4 sticks would get smaller. Because, so if you remove 17 centimetres from 21 centimetres, you get 4 centimetres, alright? So the average, so the mean length, really we should say, just to be specific, so the mean length of each stick would be less. You could say it would be 1 centimetre each, because it's 4 divided by 4, which is 1, okay? Alright, but to be fair, you could have just said the mean average length will be less. That would have been fine. Just did some waffling. Okay, use a ruler and compass. I'm going to have to leave 22 because I don't have my compass to do the 90 degrees. But for a start, if you just draw a perpendicular line here, you will get a mark anyway. Alright, so at minimum, draw yourself a perpendicular 90-degree angle at P with your protractor, even though you should use a compass to get both marks. Okay, 23. Diagram shows an isosceles, so that's important. We've got an isosceles and a straight line. That's important. And we have a ratio, so x to y is 2 to 1. So x is double the size of y in terms of the angles. Alright? Okay, work out the value of w. So we haven't got much information to go off, to be honest, but we have enough. Because, well, this angle here is double this. Instead of calling this x, let's call it what it is. It's 2 lots of y. Which means this one, because it's an isosceles, this angle and this angle are the same. So this is also 2 lots of y, right? So we have a triangle here. We know how many degrees in a triangle. There's 180 degrees in a triangle, right? So we get a bit of an equation. So all these y's in this triangle here add to make 180. So we've got 2y plus 2y plus y makes 180 degrees. So we've got how many y's? We've got 5 y's equals 180. So y equals, just need to do a division. I need to do a division, so that's 3 remainder 3 is 36 degrees. That's how big y is. Well, that's massive. How many marks? It's 4 marks. This is 36 in here. We've just worked that out. Love that for us. 180 degrees in a straight line. So it's just 180, take away 36. $144. That genuinely was a generous question because it hasn't asked you to give reasons. Normally they ask you to show your working or give all your reasons. They haven't asked that. They just said find out W for us. And the hardest bit to get past is this ratio and the fact that we have no numbers anywhere. It's all algebra basically. Alright, moving on. Mano has 3 shelves of books, X books on shelf A, 3x plus 1 on B, and 2x minus 1 on C, and there's a total of 44 books on the 3 shelves. All books have the same mass. The books on shelf B have a total mass of 7,500 grams. Work out the total mass of books on shelf A. Okay, I'm going to start by just looking at this information, the books on the shelves, the total books. So it's all 3 shelves, so we've got x in A plus 3x plus 1 in B plus 2x minus 5 in C, and all of those books adds up to 44. Okay, there's actually 44 books on there. Alright, so let's add up all the x's together. Okay, we've got all these, so 1x plus 3 is 4, 6x, and then we've got 1 minus 5, which is minus 4, equals 44. And we're going to get an equation, we're going to solve it. Okay, so we're going to add the 4. 6x equals 48, and divide by the 6. X equals 8. Okay, that's just the 6's. And that's got us something. Now, how useful this is, I don't know yet. Alright, we're not sure. There's only one way to find out. The books on shelf B have a total mass of 7,500 grams. So, how many books are there on shelf B? Let's have a look. So, looking at shelf B, well, we've got, it says there's 3x plus 1 books on there, but we know what x is now. So 3 lots of 8 plus 1. Alright, so that's 24 plus 1. So there's 25 books. And those 25 books come to 7,500 grams. So 25 books equals 7,500 grams. Alright. Could we possibly work out how much one book weighs or something? That could be really helpful. So I'm thinking we divide them. I mean, you could divide by 25 in one go. But it's non-calculator. Let's give ourselves the benefit of the doubt here. Right, let's divide them both by 5. So to find out how much 5 books is. So 7,500 divided by 5. 1 remainder 2. 500, 1,500 grams. Okay, and then let's find out how much one book is by dividing by 5 again. Alright, so 300. Alright, and we want to know the total mass of books on shelf A. Well, shelf A has X books on it. X is 8, so shelf A has 8 books on it. So one book is 300 grams. I feel like you might know where I'm going with this. Let's times it by 8, shall we? Okay, 3 is 24, so 2,400 grams. Now that question looked absolutely awful on first glance, but actually, a lot of those skills you could put together. Okay, 25, density. Okay, this is what I always say to the kids in density. Look at the blimmin' units. What are they telling you? G, that's a mass. Centimetre cubed, that's a volume. So the formula for density, G divided by cm cubed, so it's mass divided by volume. So we're doing 27 divided by 10, which is 2.7, that's it. I'd rather you just did that, or if you weren't sure you could have had times them, you wouldn't have got the marks, but at least do something. Do you know what I mean? Don't just leave it. Oh, my favourite word, estimate. Work out estimate, that means round everything like crazy, alright? Do some rounding to one significant figure. So what I mean by that is 5.7. Look at this column, that's the ones, so that's going to go to become 6. 8.2. Again, the ones, that becomes 8. 0.26, bit trickier because the first column was a 0, but we don't use that one because it starts with 0. We go here, this become 0.3. Okay, so we're doing 6 times 8 over 0.3. So 6 times 8, 48, divided by 0.3. Now that is quite tricky. Few ways you could go about it. By 0.3, we're going to divide it by 3, because that's a lot more doable. 1 remainder 1, 16. Now the answer's not going to be 16, because we're dividing by 0.3, not 3. So our answer should get bigger, because if you're dividing by something less than 1, it gets bigger. So we need to times our answer by 10, so it's going to be 160. But you could pick up marks for rounding and doing part of the process. Expand this and simplify it, so let's just do some times in. So everything needs to get times, so starting with those two, so we've got 3x times 2x, that's 6x squared. Times these two, we get minus 10. Times these two, we get plus 4x. Times these two, so all of these processes are timing, we get minus 15x. Okay, so what I've done there is I've times out everything. Right, so if you want to watch it again, check it, watch it again. And it does say and simplify, so that means whatever we have down here could get simpler. 6x squared and the minus 10, apologies. The 6x squared, the 6x squared and the minus 10 can't simplify, they are as they are, can't change. But we've got plus 4x minus 15x, which gives you minus 11x, right? And that could be your final answer. Normally we write them in a different order, but that doesn't matter, it really doesn't. Okay, moving on. This is what we call difference of two squareds. This is really grade 5. It's kind of you know or you don't kind of thing. So something squared makes 16. That is 4. So you end up with x minus 4 and x plus 4. Right, that's the only ones when you expand it out, you don't have your x term at all. So you wouldn't have this term, for example. You just get two things. All right, and that's finished. We're all done. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful. Leave any comments if you've got any questions, and I'll try and answer them to help you guys out. Good luck, guys. You got this. All right.